All right, so price objection. The customer jumps back and they say, damn, that's a high price. So you're in the scenario. You presented this to Mr. Jones. You're staying quiet. You're waiting to speak. And he says, man, that's a really high price. Hold your horses. Don't freak out. This is what you're going to say to him. You're going to say, I understand, right? Whenever a customer gives an objection of any sort, you're always going to say, understand. Or you're always going to say something like, I hear you, Miss Jones. And you say to him, I hear you, Mr. Jones. Well, let me ask you something. How much did you think it was going to cost? This is always going to be your response when they've got a price objection like this. Well, I hear what you're saying, Mr. Jones, but let me ask you something. How much did you think it was going to cost? You're going to ask it with empathy. You're not going to be hard here. They just got shell-shocked. They're shocked. And there's, my uncle actually taught me this. He said there's nothing more emotional than money exchanging hands, except for love, right? True love is. But when money exchange hands, or when there's prices, it's emotional. And people are scared. Sometimes they feel like you're taking your money from them. So you got to be empathetic. You got to say, how much did you think it was going to cost? And then they might respond to you with something like, you know what? I thought it would be about $4,000. You're coming in at $3,300. Your next response to this is going to be like, well, Mr. Jones, now that you see what we do and how we do things, could you understand why it's more than you thought it would be? And if you did a good presentation, 90% of the time they're going to say, yes, I can understand, right? So let's write these down really quick. I know we've got this in the way right here. I'm going to erase this down here. We're going to keep this up, right? Because this is what's going to be in front of them as we're closing. And they're going to say, that's a high price. You're going to say, well, Mr. Jones, how much did you think it was going to cost? The first thing is, how much did you think it would cost? They say to you, about $4,000. You say, well, now that you see what we do and how we do things, could you understand why it's more than you thought it would be? Right? Now that you see, could you understand why it's more? Right, now that you see what we do and how we do things, could you understand why it's more than you thought it would be? Yeah, I could see that. I don't have the money for it. And then you say to him, you say,